All right, so welcome to the very first episode of the Mastermind Podcast. You got Sean Breeze in the house. Who else we got in the house?
Cast 3, what up, y'all?
Yeah, so this is the very first episode. I will let you know that there was an episode before this. However, Logic was tripping. You recorded the podcast, and that much just disappeared.
It was dope, too.
It was fire. It was fuego. However, you know what? We charged that to the game, and now this is the official first episode of the Mastermind Podcast. And we feel like it's best to do an introduction of us, who we are, who you're listening to at this moment.
For sure.
And so we got like a set of questions that we're going to ask and answer, of course. And so you guys can get to know us. And then we're also going to talk about some other things, such as us attending different events, like for networking purposes, and also to show our beats off. We went to numerous events, like recently we went to the S1 event here in Dallas, Texas. We also went to another event with Ill Mind, which was pretty fuego. And we also attended the Beat Camp. I know you did it last year, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Cass did it last year. I did it this year. And just got valuable feedback. And we want to talk about how important it is to get your music out there, to get feedback so you can be a better producer and so you can grow. And so, with that said, let's start with the questions.
Let's jump this thing off.
Let's go. I know I did like a lot of talking. So,
you good player. Let
so
us know
yeah.
what's up.
Okay, I think I already kind of covered who are we. It sounds very vague, but I guess like more so like the background, like who are we? Who as people, like, you know, how long you been producing and like what got you into producing and all that jazz. You want to go ahead and start it off, Cass?
Yeah, for sure. As far as producing, how I got my equipment and everything is I won a fantasy football tournament with my homeboys, and from there, you know, I didn't know exactly what I was gonna do with the money, with some extra cash that I had, so I went to Guitar Center and ended up buying the Studio One. It's like a startup kit, and it had the Mac Mini. It had the earphones and the mic and all that. So from there,
earphones too?
Yeah, it was a package. It was a nice little deal.
Hey, yeah, Mac Mini too. Okay, it's kind of fuego.
But the Mac Mini is kind of
it was like slow.
Yeah,
Are you still on the Mac Mini?
No, I have something different now.
Okay.
The MacBook Pro or whatever. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was the beginning, and you know, it was a hobby type of thing, and it was fun because I love creating and all that type of stuff.
Well, what made you want to, I guess, go ahead and just purchase that as opposed to splurging in and maybe going on a vacation or
get
whatever?
Some J's,
yeah, something like that. Get some J's, get some jerseys, get some, you know, go to the club, go to the strip club, make it rain on some women and stuff like that. What made you do that as opposed to, like, basically what made you invest into your craft?
I'm not sure, man. In the past, like with some homeboys, we would record, and I had Fruity Loops like way back in the day. It was
well, some producer may get mad. FL Studios,
but back then it was Fruity Loops.
Okay. Back then, don't get mad now. Don't get mad.
What can y'all
back
say?
Then,
that's what it was.
Right, it is what it is.
I'm Studio One gang anyways. Now, so.
Okay.
Book.
Yeah, I'm Ableton gang, but I might switch over. I need to play with Studio One and see, you know, if it's, you know, you're on it and S1 is on it. Yeah, people have some fuego content from it, so I might try that as well. But continue your story.
I think it's whatever you can make the best music, you know, with. I mean, you should try different ones, and especially if you're starting out or at any time, just try something new and check it out.
Yeah, it's funny. I know it's like a sidebar. I don't get. It's probably gonna make people mad, but it is what it is. I really like the Logic. So I try to produce in Logic, but I feel like it's not as efficient to produce in Logic as like other DAWs. Like maybe I haven't gotten to a good workflow with it. Like the fact that my main issue is whenever you have one instrument, right, and you want to have multiple, I guess, MIDI notes to kind of trigger that one instrument, it's like very weird to configure that in a way where it's like very easy to do. Like I can easily do it with Reason, I can do that easily with Ableton, but with Logic it's like it's a struggle. That was a and so it was a struggle, and so I ended up finding myself spending more time trying to make more use of this one instrument, and then it was just I couldn't get into it. But I might try to get into it later. But my bad. Continue
Yeah,
story.
no, you good. But see, like what you're just talking about is if it slows your workflow down, or if it doesn't, if it's taken away from your creativity or whatever, then it might be, you know, a person you might want to try something else, or
But
it should be, you know, it should help your creative process. You know, it's whatever it is. If studio wants certain things, and I'm going to try something different. You know, if it's hindering me from just being able to get out what's inside my head or creativity, what I want to hear. So, but
yeah, absolutely. Because the beats I made in Logic, they're fuego, they're fire. I mean, I like the sound.
Yeah.
However, it's like I felt like I wasn't as efficient working within Logic. And Ableton, the reason why I love it, I know he's like sidebar. The reason why I love it a lot is because I'm able to, like, it works in loops, and I'm also able to freestyle a little bit. Like, I can, like, just keep playing. And then once I kind of hear something that I like, I can just go back to that part in that loop and be like, all right, I'm going to keep this part and then trash everything else.
For sure, there you
go. You know, so that's why I like it. But my bad. Continue your story.
Oh, no, you good. We chopping it up, man.
Yeah.
It's going to flow how it should. But what it was about what
basically what made you make the purchase, like investing into your craft as opposed to splurging it on something else that may not be as beneficial to you.
Yeah, so I recorded a couple of years back with my homeboys. It was a lot of years back, actually. And so I think, you know, subconsciously or whatever, that's just like it guided me that way, because I don't think before that, like months before that, I don't think I had in mind like, oh, when I get enough money, I'm gonna buy this production kit, set it up at the crib and all of that, and start going hard at it. And it just happened that way, you know. And from there, it was a hobby type of thing. And then I realized that because I've always been a creative type of person, you know, so that was just an outlet of doing that. And it felt good, you know, like, so.
Well, I have a question. So when did you realize that you were good? Like, at what point, you know, because a lot of times we end up creating stuff, and then we're like, it's cool, but you end up turning on the radio or hearing your favorite producer, and you're like, no, it's not that. Yeah. But then you hear that person that when you play your beat for, they're like, that's kind of good, that's fuego. So like, at what point did that occur for you?
It came easy, and I feel like I was covering a lot of ground in a short period of time. But I mean, I guess that's really all on how a person feels about it, you know. So I don't even now. Some people might not even say it's good or whatever. Yeah. But to me, it sounded good, and I love doing it.
That's
and
true.
It was just a lot of fun. Like, I love the inspiration. You know, it's just a lot of fun. The feeling that I got from it, and then after it was done, being able to ride around and listen to it in the car. My son's listeing to it and singing along to it.
That's not,
so,
okay.
Yeah, that was it right there.
I think a lot of days, a lot of people use their children. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, you good.
As like their A&Rs as to whether something is good or not. But yeah, that's fire.
That's funny because I don't know who I was, where I got this information from, but I remember I was listening to somebody, and they said that they it was a podcast with a guy that he is a designer. He was a designer for Nike, for Jordan. He grew up in Chicago, and it was his goal to be a designer for Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, really?
Yeah, to just help design Jordans and stuff. He went from like an intern at Nike to way up there next to Jordan and helping him in a very short period of time. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, you know, it's funny. It sounds like a similar story that I read.
It might be the same dude.
No, it's like more so like in Think and Grow Rich, right? So that's the book. That's the book I'm currently reading right now, Think and Grow Rich. We're supposed to like talk about books later, but I think it ties to what you're saying. Like in the book Think and Grow Rich, there's a part like it breaks it down like the principles that you need to be able to achieve or acquire whatever you desire in your deepest of deepest hearts, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so And the desire set in is like broken down different principles, and one principle is having the proper amount of desire, and then the second principle is like faith, and there's some other principles that I haven't gotten to yet. But in the desire part, it spoke about how this guy desired to work with Thomas Edison, and you're like, you know what? However I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna work with Thomas Edison. I'm gonna be a business associate of him. And so what he did, he like went out on a limb, decided to go into the area where Thomas Edison is at, where he, I guess where his workplace or whatever, where you have different, I guess, inventors there.
Yeah.
But basically, he went there, showed up, got in on the ground floor, and ended up basically like working his way because he had like a strong desire. He didn't, of course, quit at any time. He had a strong desire, and he was able to work to a point where he was, well, basically, Thomas Edison created this invention that many people didn't really believe in. But the dude who went there to work with Thomas Edison, he believed in the actual product, and he was able to sell that product and make an impression on Thomas Edison, then became a business partner of Thomas Edison.
Right, yeah.
So it sounded like something similar where, like, yeah, you had that strong desire. He had the desire to work for Jordan, and he said, no, I'm getting that building, and he ended up working his way up in a short amount of time because he probably had that strong-ass desire to do that.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, and, he just also he broke down that, I don't know if this really pertains to it, but Michael Jordan has other Michael Jordans around him, like in their own field, like great people that can in certain areas that he's not that good at or whatever. He has another person with the same drive, the same intensity, and the ability or whatever in that situation. So
and I would say that's the importance of like mastering your craft and getting to the point where you have like a super duper strong work ethic and you know how to yield results. Yeah. And then you will be able to identify those same qualities in other people. And so I guess we can kind of get my bad. We kind of had like a deviation from what we're talking about. So yeah, you invested into your craft and you've been doing it. So how long since you invested into your craft and I guess to now at this point, how long?
December it'll be 3 years. Okay. And so yeah, in that period of time, I think I've came a long way in that short period of time. Okay. But it's a process. So I'm not trying to do something that I'm cool with the hard work, the work part of it. Mm-hmm. So I know I need to crank out more beats. I need to work on more beats. I need to break down how other songs or their arrangement is and certain things. So you got to be personally, I feel like I got to be a student forever. I always want to be learning. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying, for the rest of my life. So I don't ever want to feel like I know it all or that I can't learn from a situation. You just got to be open. That's how the game works, I feel.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So I guess I can go into my background. And so with music, I started music production around 2008 when I was in college. I remember my homies, when I first started, I played some beats for my homies. They said it sounded like some video game Christmas stuff, and because the sounds were whack, I was like using stock sounds within reason and stuff like that. I wasn't adding reverbs or any type of effects to it. Everything just sounded mad cheesy, no drum kits.
But you thought it was hard at that time.
This is kind of fuego. What are you talking about? This is fuego. You crazy. This is fuego.
I'm sensitive about my ears. Don't be.
So I started at that point, and basically I've been producing on and off, and then it just got to a point where I just realized that music is like my hardcore passion. It's like something that I love throughout life. I used to be a kid in front of the damn TV screen watching music videos all day, and then I would actually record music from the music video, which makes no sense now because I could have recorded it from the radio. But anyway, it basically came to a point where I realized, you know what, this is my passion, and I want to do it for the rest of my life, which sounds crazy, but I want to do it like as my thing. And so basically, I left my job about a month ago now to pursue music production full time. Yeah. And I guess that's the point when I decided to invest. I guess I kind of more so invested recently when I decided to update my equipment, where I got the Machine 3 Mark 3, and I got the Complete Control Mark 2. Yeah. Which is both Fuego things that have helped me in my production. Also upgraded my sounds and and since then I've been getting like very positive feedback in regards to my music. I guess what really propelled me, like gave me confidence, was when I went to that Illmind event that we both attended, where we actually met.
That's where we met at, yep.
And played my beats in front of the crowd, and people were like, "Oh, your beats are really good." I'm like,
and that was the first time, like, a recent playing it in front of
people? Ever, really. Honestly, ever. Like, I never, because I was, like, very, like, shy about it, and I didn't really want, because, like, music, like I said, is, like, my soul and my spirit, and so I felt like at the time that if people hated my music, they hated me. Probably on some deeper subconscious shit, honestly.
I can see that.
But now I really don't give a damn anymore. Like, I love my music. And it kind of speaks about what you kind of said earlier about how you think like your music good, and you thinking that's good enough, which is very important. I think producers need to keep that in mind at all times, that hey, you are the ultimate judge of your music. Don't let anybody else say like, okay, your music is trash, and then you be like, oh, my music is trash, I'm not gonna make music no more. Like, if you like your music, that's good enough, and keep it moving. Take what you can learn from people who do say your music is trash, and maybe you can make some adjustments that you feel like you want to make. But however, love your music. And so, that was the first time me playing music in front of people, and I got positive feedback from that, and that really propelled, like, you know what, I'm ready to do this music production thing. And so I've been working on it for some months now, and getting better and better, and that's where I'm at with music right now. So
that's what's up, man. And even doing that, like, I think that's a major step in first off, it helped you realize that that's what you wanted to do, you know, solidify it. But stepping out of your comfort zone to get in front of these people and present your creation to them, and to make it through that without having a panic attack or losing it, you know what I'm saying? So overcoming it, that's a great thing. You should, you know, that's trophy wise, you know, like, it's a great thing to do that.
I agree, absolutely. And I would say I noticed the difference between, like I said, we attended this event this past weekend when I played my beats in front of the crowd there,
right? And
I played the beats in front of Illmind crowd. Like, the difference was in my posture, where when I played my beats in front of the Illmind crowd, I had my head down, but this past weekend I had my head up, looking at people like, you like my shit? Yeah, you like my shit. You like my shit? Yeah, you like my shit? Yeah, because my shit is fire. That type of thing.
Confidence was on a whole other level.
Yeah, because I wanted to be the first person to play my beats. It just shows the growth right there. So yeah, when you out there, get yourself out there. But
that was a short. You're talking about a couple of months. That wasn't like years. That was like, so hey, that's what's up.
That's the right track. But we'll talk about that more about that later. So we get back to introducing ourselves. So, so where are you from?
I was born in Oklahoma.
That's right. I keep forgetting that, man.
Yeah, I was born in Oklahoma, but raised out here in Dallas, Texas. Lived in Atlanta for a couple of years and moved back out here. So pretty much born in Oklahoma, raised in Texas, Dallas, Texas.
How many years did you spend in ATL?
I was out there for about 3 to 4 years.
Oh, word. Was it like adult years or kid years?
Teenage years.
Yeah,
early teenage years.
Okay.
And I have a memory of back then. This is like how my love for music, and probably played a part in why
nice.
I am recording and producing and all that, is that I used to back when they had tape players and all that, we used to, all my homeboys and friends around the apartment we lived in, apartment complex, we would, this was when Snoop Dogg, his first album was out. I remember the tape. And we would, if you could recite the lyrics to the song or whatever, then you was cool. I
remember that era.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I remember being up in my room, writing down the lyrics to it, like stop, rewind, play, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All the way through Bone Thugs and Harmony 2. And this was right around the time like Outkast dropped their first album, but they weren't that known. Like in Atlanta, I remember my brother's friend Milton, shout out to you wherever you is, you know. But he had bought the CD and it was on sale, and I don't think they really had any airplay or anything at that time. and it was one with Hootie Hoo and the Players Ball and all that. So it was real dope. I remember that. Yeah,
was that Southern Playlist.
Southern Playlist. Yeah,
I think that was that.
Cadillac Funky Music. Yeah, that one. So I remember that and hearing that, and that kind of got the jump on it before most people had heard it, before they got big. And I thought they were cool. But,
like, so
yeah,
that in the short time that you were in ATL, that was like a crucial spark, because like that's the, you know, still I say today it's the mecca of at least current music right now.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you can't argue that.
It influences everybody's music from the West Coast to the East Coast or whatever. You know, it has some influence.
Yeah, it's true.
There.
Like even Kendrick recent album, Damn, has some trap ish drums, you know, with the 808s and also with the hi-hats and stuff like that. Even J Rock's recent project, which I love.
That Win-Win song goes hard, boy.
Win. And like playing that joint in the gym, you up here like running, like I'm up here like, put this treadmill on 10, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Just going hard and pumping iron and stuff like that, just crazy. But yeah, fire album, J Rock. So you spent some time in ATL, then you came back over here, and you moved directly to Dallas. And then
around the North Dallas area, and I was still in school at that time, and you know I was playing in the sports and all that. And that's the thing. I think if I wouldn't have been so heavy in sports, trying to be like Mike, you know what I'm saying.
You played basketball?
Yeah, I played basketball in high school and all that. So if I wouldn't have been doing that, then I think I would have been trying to create music or whatever. But I was just focused on that. And
that's funny, because like, so during that time, like I guess it's not like during high school years, right?
Right.
Yeah, so like during that time in high school, that's when I actually got into music. So
gotcha.
I guess like quick story. So yeah, I'm from Dallas, born and raised, in the particular area, Southside Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
And then I went off to Houston for a little bit for school. Then I came back here to live with my parents for a little bit, stacked up some money. Then I moved down my own to Fort Worth area, and then now settle over here in the mid cities area between Dallas and Fort Worth, in this little pocket. And so, but I have traveled to many places before. I've been to India. Actually, that's where. So I've been to India. I've been to which is a hell of a culture shock. For real, like I remember we got that mud and just like the air, and then also just seeing like we taking a cab, and you seeing like 5 people on one moped, like literally like a family. Like you'll see like the father driving, you see the baby in between the mother, then you see the mother, then you see like the kid on the back, then you see the other kid on the back too. Like damn, like this is not no exaggeration, it's just crazy. But I say that to make a point that I would say definitely traveling was a great influence in just me like growing, right? And also I would say music wise, because you hear different sounds and hear different music, of course, as you travel the world, and then you get an understanding of the worldwide sound. I say that because I'm not sure you remember that DJ Envy single that came out. A lot of people in the States didn't really rock with it, but I like, okay, but that's gonna pop worldwide though, because it had that worldwide sound. But all right, back to the point.
I think that's more important. Like, I would rather have a worldwide success. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? For something that I was a part of musically or whatever, than just in the States or just, you know, local. But if it was popping worldwide, that's a goal. That's a blessing.
I'll say, but funny though. So in Aruba, it's like I'm stunning. I'm not stunning. I promise. This is just
Aruba
true.
Though.
In Aruba, yeah, I know.
That's how it goes.
So which is it's cool. It's like a desert island. It's all right. It sounds so bougie. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. So the most hilarious thing was when we went to this little pier bar restaurant, and then they started to play Future Mask Off.
What?
Mask off.
Yeah.
Mask off, whatever. Because like for the most part,
little flute.
Yeah, Aruba is like a destination. You will see a lot of people. I think a lot of European people, like from Europe. I'm saying, and of course you got people from the States and that type of thing. And yeah, it's an interesting place. It's a cool place though. Nice water. But all right, to the point. Bring it back to the high school. It's like during the high school era, that's when I really got into music, because I was more so of a rapper back then. I'm trying to get back into my raps, so I've been like freestyling like daily, trying to get my flow back to a doper point. But that's when I was started to rap. I remember I would put my stuff on SoundClick, if you guys remember that. Oh, I think it's still around.
Yeah.
And I would put my music on SoundClick. I had like different freestyles. Actually, it was at a point where my music reached the number 2 spot on the freestyle list.
That's
like with no push, with no advertisement, just me rapping, whatever. I made a song. I redid I'm So Fly with Lloyd Banks joint.
Yeah.
I left his hook, but I rapped in the verses, whatever, and that ended up coming like number 2. Ended up hating on me by flagging it. But that was like one of the introductions, like, oh shoot, like music, I love music. And then I actually put out a mixtape around the age of 18 called The Definition of a Gangster. And the point was, it's like, I'm far from a gangster, far from a thug or whatever, but the point was like, what's gangster is like you doing what you want to do, you achieving what you want to achieve, you living your life, you living your truth, you being you know, that's gangster. That's definition of a gangster. And so it was kind of funny that I was thinking like that way back in 19, which is kind of crazy. But even though I was talking that rah talk, I wasn't about the gun busting. That I wasn't about that life. I'm not about that life either right now. But yeah, in the high school era was like very pivotal as to the point where I got into music and stuff like that.
That's what's up, man. Yeah.
I feel like I kind of talked a lot on that joint.
Nah, that's a good foundation. Let them know, where we coming from and how we got to this point with music, and and back in the day, just to reflect, I always wanted to play the drums and stuff, but I was into sports and all that, so I chose the sports kind of, rather than learning the drums and all that. But later in life, when I had was working and had my own place and all that, I started taking drum lessons and all that. So that I think that also played a part. And once I was able to start producing my own music and all that, so yeah.
So do you still like practice your drums or what?
I still got it, but I haven't been doing it as much. Like, I still get on there here and there, but after, the event and all that, and talking with other creators, I'm gonna start implementing live drums. And
yeah, I agree. I was thinking that like my tracks, all their like they're cool. However, like damn, but my hi hats kind of just sound like the same, like the what's on the radio hi hats, or whatever, which is cool. Yeah. But I could switch it up. Maybe I can. I've been thinking about actually going back to listen to some James Brown and kind of hearing some of that funky drummer stuff, and then like sampling that and putting that into my music, which kind of bring that live human element.
That's some drums with the swing. And that's what I was saying. I probably want to do that just because that swing is natural. It's not the actually the tempo will probably change in those type of songs because it's a swing. It's the drummer may speed up or whatever, and he dictates the whole tempo of the song, the drummer and the kick and all that. So yeah, I mean that's that live and that natural feel that it all comes from.
So okay, the next question. So the first time you realized music was your passion.
First time. I mean, I've always loved music and car rides. I can remember going to Oklahoma, like when we lived in Dallas when I was young. I was probably like 6 or something, but we were going back to visit our family in Oklahoma and stuff. And I can remember listening to MC Hammer in the car, learning the words and all that. I'm talking way back. And I think I had the MC Hammer tape, and my brother had the Heavy D tape. So I can remember going back and forth, like, on the way down there, we listened to Heavy D and Hammer, and then on the way back, listening to it. So I always, or even in the car listening to the radio, I always had a connection with like the music that I liked and all that. It was a deep connection. Like it resonated with me, and it would, make me think of what was going on in school or whatever, what's going on around the house so I've always had a deep connection with music, and it I won't say it guides your emotions, but it can make it can make an emotion, make you feel good or bad and all
Mhm.
that. So that's why, you know, I've loved it. And I think from early on, maybe even when I was in the womb or whatever, my mom and them listening to Prince or whatever they
Oh
was
yeah,
listening to
yeah.
back then, you
That's
know, it could be from way early. You know what I'm saying? So
that's funny because it's funny. Like in our household growing up, at least my dad was more of a Michael Jackson fan. And the
Yeah.
thing is, like, we really didn't hear Prince in the household like that. So
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy. So he was more of a Michael Jackson fan. So like that's kind, I guess, kind of at the point where I like introduced to that style of music. So a
Yeah.
lot of Michael Jackson, a lot of early like Jackson 5, that type of thing. Remember we would take road trips like that, as you, like you guys. And he'll play that all the time, whatever. And they will always just play music. And so I would say for me, when I kind of like realized that music was like the center of everything. It's kind of weird. It's like you don't have a memory as to the point of when, but I feel like it's always been there.
yeah.
Like, but I would say like hip hop for sure. I know when I was introduced to it was when my brother, he had the Brat tape, Funkified,
Yeah.
that joint, and I remember just playing that joint over and over and over. Like, oh, this is so fuego.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like really, I would say that's at the point where I was like really got into music and like just like hip hop and stuff like that. And then I remember my brother would just have like different lyrics that I didn't know. Then he would end up playing the song, and so like I was like early childhood obviously, but that's when I got into, I guess, my passion for music, or just like listening to it over and over and stuff like that. And my parents, I would say, encouraged that because they would buy us albums for Christmas. Like I remember for Christmas, like, I got the Dangerous album from Michael Jackson, but my dad ended up yanking it and just playing it himself and stuff like that. But
he was like, "Give me that."
Yeah. It's not yours. Take that back.
But I got one more memory,
Right,
man.
go
I was probably like 6, so I probably shouldn't have been listening to it. But I was young, man. But an older cousin came down, and he had this. Even now, it would seem like tight music equipment. He had the earphones, and it had a little speaker attached to it where you could talk into it, and he had Tupac's one of his tapes. It was the one with Brenda's Got a Baby.
Oh, word, yeah.
Yeah, and so I love that song though. I mean, I didn't know the whole meaning behind it or whatever. I mean, it's self-explanatory, but I was young, so I didn't know how deep the song was or whatnot. But I can remember he let me use his equipment to listen to it, and that song I didn't really listen to the other ones, but that one I played that one over and over again. It was the
nice.
beat,
That's funny.
and then his flow.
Yeah.
And even if I hear that now, it's like, you know, it's just one of them songs, like it stands out in my memory, and in, you know, just in life. It was important enough for me to remember that, and for it to be like a stamp on my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for memory. So that was dope. Just thinking about that. When what you said it brought that back up. I hadn't even thought about that in I don't know how long. So.
That's great. And you kind of made me talking about like listening to stuff you shouldn't be listening to. I remember, I'm not sure why my mama did it, but my mom got me the Bone Thugs and Harmony Art of War album.
Yeah.
The dirty version.
Yeah.
with Pac and
Explicit,
Biggie.
yeah.
The Explicit. No, Biggie wasn't on that joint.
Yeah, he was.
Biggie
Both
Art
of them
War?
had a song, on because I think it was a 2-disc.
Yeah.
And they both had one on each disc or whatever, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Because it was the
was it
Armed and
was it Boney
Dangerous.
Oh, yeah,
Ain't
Boney
too
and
many
Biggie.
Yeah. that-
Boney,
yeah.
Biggie. Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. So, the Art of War, and man, that just the cuss word. I was like, oh shit! I had to turn the radio down. Like, hey, I'm not supposed to be listening to this, but this is fire. I love it. And I mean, I played that, but all damn summer, over and over. I can't believe I was not cussing. Like cause I wasn't like a kid who cussed like that, so which is kind of funny. But I just play that joint, and then I remember my dad though. He ended up giving me like this, like during the No Limit Master P era or whatever.
Yeah.
Giving the Silk the Shocker Made Man joint, and he also got me the Mystical Ghetto Fabulous joint.
Yeah. Oh, that Mystical was hard too. Yeah.
That was life. That was life at that moment. We went to the CD, whatever, the CD stores. Actually, we went to the stores, people, kids. We went to the stores and went to the actual CD spot and got CD warehouse probably. Yeah. And then which don't exist. CDs don't even probably exist anymore like that. Because I know Best Buy stopped selling them.
Yeah.
But anyway,
either there or the mall, you would go, go get them joints, man.
FYE, it's crazy. But all right. So let's get back to the point. So that's cool. That's the first time we realized our passion for music.
Yep.
All right, next question. So what equipment do you use?
Right now I have a Studio One, 3 professional. They have an upgrade to Studio 4.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that yet, but
Can you explain why?
The reason why is because usually with the updates, there are going to be several more coming out when they first do that because it's going to have the kinks and the issues with it or whatever. But I have a process with the one I have now, the version, and it's not that much different. But after this weekend, we went to the assembly and the locking and stuff, but I was talking to S1, and he showed me some things that was why I should upgrade it and just go ahead and learn it.
Oh, word. What was the
things that I use sample 1 in there for my drums and all that, and they've enhanced it. They made it. They've, you know what I'm saying, they
shit, man, we want to goddamn studio. Damn, S1 use it.
They souped it up, man. So it's so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I can keep the version that I have, so I can always go back to that. Just download it.
That's true.
But yeah, so you can't be afraid of upgrading and trying something new and learning something. So I'll go ahead and do that. But the reason why I didn't do it, I was gonna do it, but I was waiting for them to do the kinks and maybe release another one, like a 0.2 or whatever. But we'll see. I'll check it out. But I use Studio One. I have some MPC sounds and stuff. I had a MPC Studio, but that didn't really go well with Studio One, so I ended up just keeping the sounds for that and use them through Sample One or whatever. But that's pretty much the gist of it right there. And
so, what made you choose Studio One out of, I guess, the other dolls and stuff like that, instead of FL Studios?
Man, I didn't know about it. I didn't know anything about those at that time, but it was that package.
Oh,
at,
okay,
Guitar Center.
Yeah,
okay,
like,
so it was that package. I was like, from here, if I get this, I can do everything I want to do. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I could record that day if I wanted to. So that was just, how it started. And, and it came with Studio One Artist, so that wasn't the it's not the best one. It's not professional, so it doesn't have certain things that you can do with it. It's still dope. That one might be, I don't think that one's free, but they have a free Studio One, but I would recommend, go ahead and just get the professional one if possible. But, any DAW, I mean, whatever it is, you want to master that DAW that you have, and also probably you want to be able to work in any DAW, though, because you never know the situation, where you're at. Somebody might have some equipment and want to get down and want you to produce something for them, so you don't want to miss out on that opportunity because you don't know how to work that DAW. Like Pro Tools, I need to learn that because I don't really mess with Pro Tools, but that's where every big studio, that's what they're messing with. You know what I'm saying? It's Pro Tools. So,
and I feel bad because I really don't. I know I probably shouldn't feel this way, but I really don't care to.
Yeah, me either.
But I know it's like the staple at the moment, and I do hear. My bad. Do you have any more?
Yeah, I'm just saying You don't want to be, where you don't want to be in the not knowing how to use it or whatever.
That's true.
And you got a chance to do a placement or get some bread, or make a masterpiece.
That's true. I should just be open to just checking it out. I did start out on Reason all the way up to from Reason 5 to 10, and then I decided all right, I want to just try something new and just branch out there. So I decided to try Ableton, and then now that's the home base right now. I love Ableton. Ableton, what I love about it is the fact that it allows me to really create different ideas and then build upon these ideas. And once I kind of get to a solid point of the ideas, I can lay it out however I want it in the arrangement.
Arrange that joint, huh?
Arrangement, because they have two different views. You got the arrangement view. I can't remember the other one. It's like the more loop-based view. Session view, I think that's what it's called. And so the session view really allows me to get my ideas out, and then I go to the arrangement view to arrange it, and then put out my stuff. And for me, I feel like I'm more efficient in Ableton, and so that's why I work with DAW-wise. Equipment-wise, I have the machine, as I stated. I think I stated that earlier. The Machine MK3 and the Complete Control 2, and those are dope because I like doing my drums, of course, on a machine, because you really get that human feel. And with the Complete Control, what's dope about that is the fact that, all right, I'm not that versed as a keyboard player or like music skills and stuff like that. So it has like different features that can help people who aren't up on their music theory. Like they have a feature where I can set the keyboard to be in a particular scale and allow the correct keys in that scale. And thus I can know what keys to hit, so I can kind of really get to my melodies a lot quicker, kind of know what keys to hit.
Yeah.
And so I really dig that. But I'm willing to look into Studio One. I'm hearing good things about it and just seeing like what it is, because you said something about how it's somewhat related to Pro Tools, like what, mixed engine wise, or what? How is it related to Pro Tools, or?
Yeah, I think the mixing, how the mix board comes up and all that. There's probably a lot of DAWs now that have it like that, because they're all like taking stuff from each other to make it better, But yeah, Studio One it has a great mix board, and I love that. It's almost like like a real studio being in there, because you can with the faders and all that, and most pretty much do it. But that's just what I've heard from like experienced producers and stuff, is that Studio One is linear like Pro Tools is. And I don't know I've never really used Pro Tools, so I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that, but that's what I've heard. So
interesting. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll check that out.
And it's good to record in too. So a lot of people use Pro Tools to record and all that.
Yeah.
Studio One is tight for recording. I'll say that mixing and recording is
like recording
is
vocals and stuff like that. Okay,
for sure.
That's fine. Okay. So yeah, I'll probably look into that as well. Then I'll give you some updates as to if I like it or if I jump ship to Studio One or stay with Ableton.
Give them that review.
Yeah. And so do we have any pro musical background? You kind of spoke about earlier how you try to learn to do drums, or you learn to do drums. But anything else, I guess, with a pro kind of flair to it?
No, that was pretty much it, man. The lesson with drums, I did that for about a year, and that way, I could read music as far as the drums, and even keyboard a little bit. But yeah, that was it, and that was enough where I could stand alone. Like, if I haven't been doing it for some months now, and been focusing on production in Studio One and all that, so I haven't been mess around with the drums. But anytime I sit down to it, I still have that muscle memory or whatever. Gotcha. So it feels natural. I just if I did it for a day, the next day it would be, you know what I'm saying, I would feel a lot more comfortable. Okay. I just need a little time to warm up and all that. But yeah. Okay. But I need to do it more, because I realize I want to implement that into my production.
Yeah, because like that live feel, that human feel, really does help your production, because it just gives that, I would say, warmth to it, like this energy that makes it just sounds more authentic and more real, I guess, to people, or at least the feel of it is more real, I would say. For sure. Instead of like it sounding like very electronic-y.
Right. So, yeah. Robots. They trying to take over the world, man.
Yeah, hilarious. For me, I really have none. I read like a few books about like music theory, and worked through like different problems with that. I am currently taking this online piano course, so I can learn the proper fingerings and like make sure that I have the proper hand structure whenever I play the keys. Yeah. I have that, and I'm going to start a guitar lesson pretty soon. No, yeah. And so you may not necessarily need that pro background, but I would say for sure that pro background, or you learning how to properly play keys or read music, that stuff does nothing but help your music production and make you a better producer. I would say that.
For sure. So certain things don't clash, but if you find something that, is outside of that sounds good to your ear, you should go with that too, though, because the ear trumps it all, I think. The ear is... That's true. Because that you might be creating something new. Yeah. You might Because some people have an impeccable ear. You
Yeah.
can't train that. You know what I'm saying? That might be from what they've listened to over the years. I don't know. Or they might just be gifted with it. But, you know.
And that's why I feel like I feel like that's an advantage to not be super duper trained, because you're not really thinking about the boxes or being in a particular box of something.
Limited
whatever.
and
like you like, okay, well, I just throw this at it. Okay, it sounds fire. Then you just let it out. So I think that's how like new things are created for sure.
Most definitely. Yeah.
All right, next question. So how do we become better as producers?
Put in that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you want to, I've heard it several times, you want to, if you're just starting out, you want to get to 100 beats as soon as possible, because then they'll start sounding better. Or
yeah.
I've heard that, you know, but I mean, just having fun with it, man. Don't stress yourself out about it. Figure out what times work good for you.
Yeah, that's important.
The day or the night.
Yeah.
Whenever you feel it's, the best time for you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And where you have enough time to actually get it out your system, the creative, whatever you have, the creation, to get it out your system. I would say that learning, you need, whether it be YouTube University, reading, conversing with other creators. That's why the events that we went to and that you should go to, you should reach out in your city or what have you, is to get around other creators, and it doesn't necessarily have to be producers or, it could be artists or writers or whatever, but just getting around creative people and the creators, and you'll see where you're at, you'll see where they're at, and then you can learn from them. Maybe they can learn from you, but it can only help you. And don't let it not distract you, but don't let it hinder you continuing to grow and to learn if somebody doesn't like your stuff. Just, there's going to be those that don't like your stuff, but there might be that one person, and that's enough. And if not them, you got to love your own self, your own stuff, your own self, of course.
Yeah.
But you got to have that fire within that. Even if nobody likes my stuff, I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to still put in this work, because there is a certain level of where your stuff is not going to be good just starting out. And that's normal. But we don't really, in the process of doing it, we're like, oh, why isn't my stuff better right now? This and that. But it is a certain time frame where your stuff is going to be crappy. You're not going to be that good. Even if you're talented or whatever, you'll be, maybe better than most or whatever, but you have to put in that work. And once you surpass that and you start getting a little confident, I mean, the human beings, we adapt and we get better the more we do something.
Absolutely.
With anything. I mean, and that's just how humans are. We adapt. Our bodies adapt. Even when working out, like I also I'm a do personal training or whatever. I have.
Oh, you do?
So
okay.
yeah, I have. In December, that was a goal to get my NASM certificate. So I did that. I really hadn't even been using it, but it was just a goal to not see if I could do it, and I knocked it out, because that's another like passion of mine, is like working out and just doing fit stuff, from hooping and athletics and like in high school and all that. But what I was saying is like even when working out, like you stress the muscles out and all that. At first, it's hard and you're gonna be sore. You ain't done it. You ain't worked out in a couple weeks or a month or a year or whatever. So you're going to be sore that first week of doing it. But if you do that same workout, the exact same way, the same reps and all that for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month, by that month, it's not even going to do anything to you. It's not going to stress your muscles and all that. So you have to trick your body. You have to change it up, because your body adapts to it. So it's not going to have that same effect on your body to grow muscle or to have more stamina. You have to push yourself, and you have to, because the body adapts. And that was an example of, that the body, even towards production, towards whatever it is that you want to do, you have a passion for, keep doing it, and your body will adapt. Your mind, you will adapt to it, and you will get better. But you have to give yourself that amount of time to get over the crappy period.
Yeah,
So.
it's like so I have locks. You can't see this, but if you go to my Instagram, the Breeze Life, shout out your Instagram.
CAS_THREE cast 3.
All right, we're gonna do it again later. But so like with the dreadlocks, like all right, with locks, you have to go through a very, 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 very ugly ass stage. Ugly
little pigtail.
A pigtail looks just crazy. You look crazy. I'm going into work. When I was at work, I was like, shit, I look crazy. But it's a stage. But then you get to the point like, oh shit, I like how it falls. I like how the locks fall. They look good. It's like it's a process.
Yeah.
And I would say that for sure. Like me having locks has helped me accept the process. You have to accept the process. There's no getting over it. There's going to be like the failures. There's going to be like the turnarounds, the spiritual moments. You will have those things. Expect those things. The most important thing is that you persevere with persistence. I think that sounds good. And you know, just keep going. The thing is the difference between people who make it and don't make it is the persistence. Like, you gotta keep going, gotta keep working, no matter what, no matter how many times you get discouraged. Like, you know what, F it, I gotta go. And so I like that.
And that's a great example because hair grows slow, so you're gonna have to, you know what I'm saying. And I recently just cut mine off. I had a high top and I had that braided and all that, and so.
That's funny.
Yeah, like at the Ilmon thing, I had my cap on and I had it laid back. You know what I'm saying? I had it twisted.
I know, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah. So I just in the last couple months I cut it off and but yeah, that's a perfect example right there too, man. Because it grows slow, man. You want it to hang. You want to be You want to be Killmonger and all that, you know what I'm saying, from the jump.
That mug goes at whatever pace it goes, and then you have to do nothing but accept it.
Yeah.
And just accept the process. So that's a life lesson right there.
Straight up.
I guess for me, how to become a better producer, I would say like put the work in, learn. I would say also important is like the things that's outside music production. You're like I would say family life, like making sure that the family life is good, that you're in good energy, that you're in good spirits. The thing is, I realized like after I do like events with my family and I feel like I'm more motivated to make some dope music, or like
that's a great point.
Like attending the events that we went to this past weekend, like being in that type of environment is very helpful in bettering the music production. I would say also for me is reading, like reading that Jay Prince book. I read it last week. I finished it in about 24 hours. It was cause
how many pages is that joint?
It sounds deceiving. It's like 289-ish.
I'm gonna have to get
however, like the words, like the spacing, it's not as long. And plus, the book also has like pages where it's just pictures of him around different people and stuff like that. Gotcha. So it's not as long as like the page number.
So what is font 18 or something?
No, it's not like super big, but it's like it's so easy to read. It's like it's not like super duper complex words. It's just so easy to digest, and you're reading like stories. And his story made me so much like my faith in God so much stronger. Like, you know what? God is the ultimate authority. And that's the being, the energy, the higher source that run thing, and not humans per se. Like a human is not gonna get in the way of my dream. It'll be me. If the human does get in the way of my dream, it's me. And that God's the ultimate source. And so that's like a very pivotal book. So in summary, books help a lot because it changes your mindset and your mentality, and it will help you go harder in your music production.
For sure. Yeah, and just to add to that, you have to continuously keep yourself in the right mindset. So you have to do things, whether it be watch YouTube channels, listen to audio books, reading, which is great, I think, because that is it works out the mind. It keeps it is like working your mind out, like doing push-ups with your brain or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I didn't realize that back in the day. I just read enough that I would have to for school, to graduate.
Because you're reading crap that you don't want to read.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. Yeah. So I didn't really care to read then or whatever, but now it is a point to, because I understand what it does for my brain, what it does for me, understanding, and you know, that's very important for producers, for people in general, you know.
I would say for sure, like if there's a choice between reading and binge watching something on whatever show, whatever,
Netflix.
Yeah, read. The last question: what's the goal you want to achieve with the music you create?
That's a good one. The goal is to put out quality, you know, a quality creation, because I don't want to just say, well, we used to ask about music production, but quality in every avenue that I create, because like I said, I'd rather say that I'm a creator than just a producer or whatever, because just how I think and how I go about my day to day and my, my routine and all that, I just do things my own way and how I feel, with the influence of God for sure as first, you know what I'm saying? Speaking on what we were speaking about with Jay Prince and all that, that's a must for sure. So but just putting out quality first off, and then something that my family could be built on and that they would appreciate, say 20 years from now, because YouTube probably still be around then. So like listen to Gary Vee too. He always talks about like how his grandkids could be pulling stuff up or whatever. So
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's crazy.
Make content or creations that they'll be proud of, and that they will be proud of me and be happy with the type of person that I am. And I hope that the stuff that I create, that it shows the type of person that I am, and that it exemplifies that the type of person that I am. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, timeless art almost, I would say.
For sure.
And so that's like the same thing also with my music. My main thing is like I want to create not only music, but I want to create products and things that will benefit people, that will help improve people's life, that will help people be in a better position to be what they want to be, whatever in life. And just really get people to the point to really take and accept the fact that, hey, you are in charge of your life, and you're the master of your fate, as some people say, and that you can do what you want to do. You know, however you want to do it, it's on you. You have your choices. You need to make your proper choices so you can live the life you want to live. So I'm in the same vein too, I would say.
Most definitely. And where I am now is like, not to get too esoteric or whatever.
Keep it the buck, man. Let's keep it the buck.
Right now is I even try to teach this to my oldest son, because I think he could understand it. And if I was told that at that age, who knows where I would be right now, or even where I was at 20. But is consciousness, like to be in the moment, to find things in the moment that you love, or that are good in the moment right now, where you can be present in the moment instead of worrying about the past and being, take it, because I got a real vivid mind's eye, or whatever you want to call it. Like, so if I'm thinking about something in the past that was traumatic or whatever, then I can relive that. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, while I'm driving, I could like go back there and, like, you know what I'm saying, relive it like I'm going through it again, and it can mess up a person's whole day or whatever. So being the conscious and be happy with now, find things that you can appreciate now, your family, your loved ones, the good things that you're going through, because there's always somebody that is it's worse for them, that's going through something that is way worse. And even in the future, have goals for the future and all that, but don't be worried about the future. And do what you can right now, because if you do it now, your future is going to be better. Your future is impacted on what you do right now, not what you've done in the past, but right now, because right now you're living from what you've done in the past. So
everything I say everything you did from the past led you to this point.
For sure. So that's, that I think that's very important, and that's where I'm at right now. And it's hard to do throughout the day, but throughout the day I find myself trying to get grounded and realize where I am right now and appreciate right now. You know what I'm saying?
I say it's tough. I'll say because when I was working, it was very tough because I didn't want to be in that place. I often was in a very escape-ish mode where I would escape to YouTube world. I would escape to the future. I would escape to like anything that would take my mind off of me being in that moment, because I hated that moment at the moment. But now, month out, I find myself more so just thinking about like, all right, what do I need to do now? I need to do this now. I need to do this now. And the thing is, like, I would say
awesome,
if you find yourself in a constant a mindset of like always escaping to different moments, then you probably don't want to be in your current situation. And once you acknowledge that, then you gotta figure out, all right, what do I need to do? What situation do I want to be in? Figure it out and figure out ways you can get to that situation, that type of thing.
For sure.
So that's my little advice towards that. We already kind of talked about the assembly to a certain degree. I'm not sure you want to tie anything else to it. We kind of spoke about the importance of going to events. Do we want to say anything else in regards to that, and then we can wrap it up?
It was just a great experience. All of them really. The beat camp, the Past the Ox with Illmind, the assembly, S1 assembly. They were all good because I got to network with people that are close and in the city that I'd never met before. I met you
Talented
there.
people,
Yeah, creators. Yeah, they're creators. So whether artists or both or writers, so it was just a dope experience. I'd recommend it to anybody. But you have to get out there, get out of your box, get out of your room or wherever you're doing it, and put your stuff out there, put your creations out there, because that's what you're doing it for. It's like not to get biblical on you or whatever, but that's like with the talents, the story of the talents.
Get biblical, man.
Yeah,
Do it, man.
For sure,
Man,
for sure.
Show who we are.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So it's like the story of the talents, where God gave a certain amount of talents to, I think it was 3 individuals or however many. One went and buried it to try to keep it or whatever. Another one maybe multiplied it twice. Another one, he multiplied it even more. But from there, the ones that didn't do anything with it, or buried it or didn't do anything at all, that was given to those that multiplied it and did something with it. So that could tie that in as you see it. But I thought that was relevant as well.
I like that. That was dope. I echo what you say. Like, it's very important to go to these events. I learned a lot. I feel very motivated from these events. I think we spoke about how we probably won't be going to these events like anytime soon, because we kind of, I'll say I feel like we speak for both of us, but I know I definitely feel like I learned what I needed to learn. That I know that my music is on par is good for artists right now. It's like now it's time to put in that work to create like music, and then like actually work the music that I'm creating, that type of thing. So I'm at that stage. I'm at that point now. I think you're at the stage too, right?
Yeah. It was very enlightening, those experiences and all that. But now it's time to get to work. It's like a person can't watch YouTube or all the tutorials and all that and just keep doing those things without ever putting it to use. Yeah. So I've received a lot of good information, and especially from some producers we look up to, elite producers and Grammy Award winning producers. Yeah. So it's time to get to work. Like, take it with a grain of salt, but I know what I can do, and I know what I presented. That was just a part of it. That's not who I am. It was,
So it's a snapshot.
Yeah, and it's not the greatness that's within us. It was what it was, and now it's time to get to work and to make it happen. Like, it's showtime now. It's time to show up. It's time to put in that work, put in those hours, take time to learn for sure, but action. That's what time I feel it is.
Most definitely. All right. So with that said, those are all the questions. That's the introduction. That's who we are. And this is the Producer Mastermind Producer Mastermind.
I want to throw creator in there too, creators or something in there too.
Creative Masterminds, Producer Creative Masterminds, PCM.
Yeah, we gonna figure it out. Yeah, this is
all right. So this is the first episode. I guess go ahead. Let's give out our socials. Go ahead, Cass.
Yeah, on IG, you can hit me up at CAS_THREE. My Twitter. I don't really use Twitter, but I'll down the line I'll hit you guys up with it. So yeah, just on Instagram, hit me up.
On Instagram I'm not sure why I had that, but On Instagram, it's The Breeze Life. Also, I have Sean Breeze. That's supposed to be more music centric, but
Yeah.
I'm still all over the place as to like what I want to do with these pages. Like The Breeze Life started more so in the photography world. I'm probably gonna keep it that like to a certain degree where I'm gonna do like street photography and different photography that I'm into. But also I'm going to start incorporating like stories about like the life I guess I'm living, like the ups, downs, and make it almost bloggy to a certain degree. So I think that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
On Twitter, OG Sean Breeze, because I'm old. No, I'm 32. Yeah. Anyway, so with that said, this is the first episode of the Producer Mastermind Podcast, and we are out.
Holla at you.
Yeah. Peace.